let's move on to some of the midday games. Obviously, the blockbuster game, Pitt, Tennessee. Pitt had a solid matchup in the backyard brawl a week ago where they pulled it out on an interception late in the game. One of the best games of the season thus far already. Tennessee, the first play, Ball State did a flea flicker and it got intercepted. So Tennessee really hasn't had, much competition, but Heupel, Hendon Hooker, they got that fast-paced offense, and Colin, they could beat anybody in the country. What kind of game will we see Tennessee and Pitt?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, this might be an evenly matched game. In my opinion, I mean, but it just depends on how. Slavas does as quarterback. He had 300 yards last week, and he's. I'm not so sure about Tennessee's defense right now. So I mean, I don't know if it depends on if he can make some plays and get his checks down, and how many yards they get on their defense. But I think it's going to be an evenly matched game. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like a blowout. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, maybe a touchdown, maybe a field goal even. But I think it's going to be an evenly matched game. I'm anxious to see it.
I'm excited to see what happens in that. I'm excited to see. But look, let's move on into the Big Ten against a potential Heisman front runner, Mr. Braylon. What's his last name?
Allen.
Braylon Allen, yeah, had a 96-yard TD run a week ago.
He's legit.
Yeah, number 19, Wisconsin plays Washington State, and ladies and gentlemen, Washington State, pay attention. I know it's been a while. Pay attention to that QB. What are we expecting from Wisconsin today? And will this be them, no pun intended, will this be Wisconsin running away with it?
To me, I think so.
Yeah.
I think while Washington State has the potential to be electric with that quarterback and can move the ball all over the field and score at will, Wisconsin always has a top 10 defense. They're always right up there with the elite defenses in the country. Braylon Allen, that offensive line, I don't know if Washington State's defense is going to be able to stop Wisconsin's offense from imposing their will.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will definitely see. I mean, Big Ten, Pac-12. Let's see. This is really going to gauge the talent between the two. We know a lot of Pac-12 teams are eventually trying to make it to the Big Ten. So we'll see how that plays out. Kate, I'm coming to you in a game that I had to deal with one of these teams a week ago. App State put up 61 on my Tar Heels, 40 in the fourth, as I mentioned, but I'm still repping my Tar Heels. But one of Saban's mentees, Jimbo Fisher, who actually was talking a little smack earlier in the offseason to Saban.
Man, they were going back and forth.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So what should we expect from this? Because we know Texas A&M has a stout defense, especially compared to North Carolina. But App State, Bryce at QB, those receivers they know that offense. They're no slouch. They're not a team that you can just run over. Is this going to be a good one?
A&M will win this game, but it might get close at the beginning. But then A&M, Jimbo's not going to let A&M not just dominate over them. He's got a lot to prove with all the smack talk he did in the offseason. So he's going to rout Appalachian State pretty handedly. He's going to show why he deserves the accolades he's about to get, especially how he did with recruiting in the offseason. So it's going to be an easy win for A&M, and unfortunately Appalachian State may just be embarrassed by halftime.
Wow. Interesting.
I had a different opinion on that one.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, talk to me, Alex. What do you think, man?
To me, my main thing is, if you watched Texas A&M last week, I know it was a lesser opponent, but they were asleep the entire first half, in my opinion. To me, they did not look good early, and I know they put it away late. But we saw it last week with Appalachian State. They came and punched North Carolina in the mouth early. They got up early and quick, and then kind of backed off. So if they build up that lead early, I still think A&M will win, but their ability to score in bunches for Appalachian State might make this a very interesting game.
Yeah. Well, I'm eager to see. Yeah, I'm eager to see if it was our defense or if it was really App State, because to score 40 on anybody in a quarter it says something. It says it says you're doing something right. And look, we got some dogs on our defense, but I don't know. Go ahead, Kate.
I don't think Fisher is going to let them play like they did last week. That was just not the normal A&M that we're used to seeing, who beat Saban last year. So, there's not going to be a repeat of what they looked like last week.
Let's hope so. Let's hope he can get them going. Look, moving on, obviously, Ash, shout out to Ash. Iowa playing Iowa State in a game that's one is very defensive and special teams minded. One is very offensive minded with Xavier Hutchinson at the helm. We got ECU and ODU. ODU upsetting VT a week ago. Eastern Carolina almost, had it not been had it not been for their kicker, they could have potentially upset NC State. Notre Dame playing Marshall. Marshall, it was a stud team last year. Had 11 wins, and Notre Dame, as we've seen, just barely couldn't get it done. But that defense, let me tell you something. Yeah, that defense is coming. They're ready to play. They're playing for Hamilton. What do you guys think? Colin, I'm going to come to you. Notre Dame versus Marshall. Notre Dame lost, but, I mean, they earned my respect.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And that goes to what I thought was going to happen all along, is like they're playing for their coach, like you just said, and Brian Kelly leaving. But that defense is something else. And they just fell short, like you said. I think they had that game. I think they could have won that game, but they just fell a little bit short. And I think they're going to come back this week against Marshall. I mean, I'm not sure on what Marshall will be able to do with them, but I think Notre Dame's coming with a chip on their shoulder this week after what happened last week, and I think they're going to play a hard-fought game. And I look for this to probably be a blowout. I think Notre Dame's going to take them pretty handily.
Ooh, I like that. We shall definitely see. We shall definitely see what plays out. Navy, who actually lost a week ago, will play at Memphis. You got Maryland. Shout out to my guy Nathan Snell playing Charlotte. Charlotte, we talked about them a week ago. 0-2, a rough start. Maryland with Talia Tagovailoa. They got those receivers and Dante Demas and Jakeem Hicks. Like they got an offense. They can make it happen. I'm interested to see how that pans out. West Virginia versus Kansas. Alex, talk to me about this game. West Virginia loses a close one to a very good Pitt team. Kansas obviously blows out Tennessee State, which is a nobody, but we're expecting them to do something this year with what we saw a year ago. I think this is going to be a good game.
I do too, and I think the difference for me is going to be that chip on the shoulder of West Virginia, kind of like Colin was saying with Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. Losing that close one in that rivalry game especially. Yeah. I think they're going to come out hot early. I think Kansas is going to hang with them the entire game, but I think West Virginia takes it probably 7 to 10 points at the end.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the last games I did want to talk about, this probably will be a blowout, but Air Force, as you see right over here in my corner right there, top corner, Air Force will be playing Colorado. The only reason I'm mentioning, I'm an old running back. You see whose jersey I got, Barry Sanders. Air Force ran for over 500 yards a week ago on the ground.
That's insane.
I mean, look, they do this. That's the first time I believe it's happened since like 2011. Air Force has got that talent. They got the ability. So, I mean, be perfectly honest, I think this is going to happen. Colorado really didn't show me anything a week ago. So I think Air Force is going to run away with this. But let's see if they can continue that dominant running game. We know what they do. So that should be interesting. That should be very interesting. I got to get with these banners. I didn't know I had the Pitt Tennessee game still up.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.